Darren worked as a food delivery man in Nova City, a place where tall glass buildings touched the sky and flying cars zoomed past like birds. Nova City was special because humans and aliens lived together. Some aliens looked just like people, but others had wings, glowing skin, or strange eyes. Still, everyone followed the same city rules: no trouble, no secrets. Darren lived a quiet life. He had no family here, no close friends. He just did his job, kept to himself, and went home. Every morning, he woke up, checked his delivery app, and picked up the food. Then he followed the digital map and dropped it off. Easy. No talking. No problems. But one evening, something different happened. A new delivery appeared on his screen. There was no address, no street, just one word: Zura. Darren blinked at it. That was strange. The system never gave orders like this. He pressed the help button on the app. A message popped up: special access delivery. Follow beacon coordinates. A small glowing dot appeared on the map. It was far from the city center, near the edge of the protected zone. Darren hesitated. That area had no people, no businesses, only abandoned buildings and some quiet alien zones. He thought about canceling, but the payment offer was big, almost triple the usual rate. He shrugged, put on his jacket, and jumped on his hover bike. The ride was quiet. The city lights faded behind him, and the air grew colder. He followed the glowing dot on his screen as it led him through an old tunnel and up a small hill. Fog surrounded the area. His bike lights could barely cut through it. Then he saw something strange. A tall, smooth building stood alone, shining like silver. It had no windows. Its door was shaped like a leaf. The place looked like it was grown, not built. He parked his bike and walked slowly to the door. As he raised his hand to knock, the door opened on its own softly, like it was breathing. Darren stepped back, unsure. Then she appeared. A tall woman stood in the doorway. Her skin was light blue, like the sky before sunrise. Her long black hair floated slightly in the air, as if touched by wind. Her eyes glowed softly, not in a scary way, but like warm stars. She wore a long white robe with silver lines across it. She looked peaceful. "Are you Darren?" she asked in a soft, musical voice. He nodded slowly. "Yes, food delivery." She smiled. "You are on time. Please, come in." Darren blinked. "I'm only supposed to deliver. I can't enter." "But I invited you," she said calmly. "And in my culture, when someone brings food, it is respectful to offer them a moment of welcome." "Just a few minutes." Darren looked at the door, then at the woman. She didn't seem dangerous. There was no sign of a trap. He was trained to say no, but something about her voice made him feel safe. "Okay," he said finally. She stepped aside, and he walked in. Inside, the building was unlike anything he had ever seen. The walls changed colors slowly: blue, green, purple, as if they were alive. Floating orbs lit the room softly. The air smelled sweet, like flowers mixed with clean water. There were no chairs, only smooth round stones and cushions that floated slightly off the ground. Zura closed the door and walked ahead. "You may place the food here," she said, pointing to a glass table that seemed to grow from the floor. Darren placed the package down carefully. "Is this your home?" She nodded. "Yes. I designed it myself." "You built it?" "No. I grew it," she said simply. "My people use living materials. Our homes are part of us. They listen to our needs." Darren stared around in wonder. "It's beautiful." "Thank you," she said. "And thank you for bringing the food. It's difficult for someone like me to go into the city often." Darren looked curious. "Why? Nova City allows aliens." "Yes," she agreed. "But I'm not like most aliens who live here. I am temporary." "Temporary?" She tilted her head. "I was sent here to observe, just for a short time. But I stayed longer than planned." Darren felt a small chill. "Are you in trouble?" "Not yet," she said with a light smile. "But I may be. That is not your concern, though. You are kind to bring food. May I offer you tea?" Darren was about to say no, but something about this place, its silence, its beauty, made him pause. It was the first time in weeks he didn't feel tired or bored or invisible. Okay, just a little. Zura poured tea from a tall, silver pot. The liquid shimmered like stars and gave off a soft, minty smell. Darren took a sip. It was warm and gentle, like comfort in a cup. They sat across from each other in silence for a moment. You live alone? Zura asked. Darren nodded. Yeah, just me. You are very quiet. I'm just used to being on my own. She studied him. You have strong emotions, but you hide them. Darren looked away. Most people don't care. I do. He looked up. Her glowing eyes were calm. But serious, you do. Yes, she said, because I am learning about humans, and you are different from most I've met. You feel more real. Darren didn't know what to say. Then a sound came from the wall, a soft pulse, like a heartbeat. Zura turned her head and frowned. I must ask you to go now, she said gently. Something is changing. Darren stood up slowly. Okay. Thank you for the tea. She walked into the door. You may come again, if you wish. But do not tell anyone about me. He nodded. I won't. As he stepped out into the fog, Zura's voice followed him. You are not like the others, Darren. That may be why I invited you in. The door closed behind him for the next few days. Darren couldn't stop thinking about Zura, her soft voice, glowing eyes, and the way her strange home felt so peaceful. It all stayed in his mind like a dream he didn't want to wake up from. He had delivered to hundreds of customers before. Some were kind, some rude, most forgettable. But Zura was different. She wasn't just polite. She was curious about him. And he felt something in himself when he was near her. Something warm, something alive. He kept checking the app, hoping another order from her would appear. But nothing came. No messages. No special coordinates. Still, on the fourth night, after finishing his regular deliveries, he made a choice. I'll just check if she's okay, he told himself, just for a minute. He followed the old tunnel road again. The fog was still there, thick like before. Her silver house stood alone, quiet and glowing softly under the moonlight. Darren stood outside for a few seconds. What if she didn't want him here? What if he was being foolish before he could knock? The door opened on its own. Zura stood there, her long black hair floating gently. I thought you might come, she said calmly. Darren felt his face grow warm. I hope I'm not bothering you. You're not, she said. I was hoping to see you again. Inside, the house looked the same but somehow felt warmer. The walls glowed in softer colors, like pink clouds and gentle green leaves. The same floating lights moved around them slowly, like small stars. Zura offered him tea again. This time, it had a different smell, like honey mixed with cool rain. You said your people sent you here, Darren said after a few sips. Why? Zura looked at him carefully. We are called the Norellians. My people believe in study and understanding. We do not fight wars. We observe, learn, and adapt. Earth has become important to the galaxy, not because of your technology, but because of your emotions. Emotions? Darren asked, surprised. Yes, humans feel things deeply. Joy, fear, kindness, anger, love. Most species do not feel in such powerful ways. We Norellians feel very little. That's why I was sent here to study how emotion shapes your lives. Do your people feel nothing at all? He asked. We do, but only in very small ways. Our emotions are like quiet winds. Yours are like storms. Darren laughed softly. Yeah, that sounds about right. Zura leaned forward slightly. But something strange happened. I started to feel more. Ever since I met you. Darren's eyes widened. Me? Yes. You are different from the others I've met. You listen. You don't speak with noise, you speak with meaning. That affects my core. My house even responds to it. Didn't you notice the colors? Darren looked around. The soft pinks and greens shimmered gently as Zura spoke. When he had first visited, the colors were colder blues and purples. I thought it was just decoration. No, this house is part of me, and it reacts to what I feel. Darren grew quiet. That's strange and amazing. Zura smiled. To me, you are strange and amazing too. They talked for a long time. Zura asked about human traditions, birthdays, music, pets, even why humans cry during movies. Darren answered as best he could. He told her about his old dog named Rusty, who once stole his shoe and wouldn't give it back. Zura laughed for the first time. It wasn't loud, but it was beautiful, like music made of light. You miss him, she said gently. Yeah, Darren replied. He was my only real friend for a while. She tilted her head. And now, Darren looked at her for a long moment. Now, I'm not so alone. Suddenly, the lights in the room blinked once, then turned dim. Zura stood up quickly. Wait here, she said. She walked to the wall and touched it. A soft glow appeared, forming symbols Darren couldn't understand. Her face changed. The peaceful look was gone. Now she looked tense, worried. What is it? He asked, standing up. Zura turned toward him. A message from my people. A warning. A warning. They know I've made contact with someone. A human. You. Darren felt a chill run through him. Are they angry? Yes. Emotional bonding with a human is forbidden during missions. They may think I'm losing control. Darren took a step forward. You're not in trouble because of me, right? Zura's voice grew softer. Not yet, but they're watching. They sent me a signal. A test? If I break more rules, they will come for me. And what happens then? Zura didn't answer. Silence filled the room. The walls changed color again, now soft gray, like a quiet storm. I should go, Darren said quietly. Yes, Zura agreed. It's safer that way. But, she walked closer to him. I do not regret meeting you. Even if they are watching, you are helping me feel something I never knew was possible. Darren nodded. I feel the same. She placed a small object in his hand. It looked like a silver leaf. This will guide you here. Without the app, if you ever feel lost, just hold it. My home will find you. Darren looked at it. It felt warm in his palm. Thank you. As he turned to leave, Zura's voice stopped him. Darren? He looked back. You asked if I'm in trouble. Maybe I am, but you make the trouble worth it. Darren didn't visit Zura for the next 2 days. He wanted to. His thoughts kept returning to her glowing eyes, her quiet laughter, and the warmth of her home. But the warning message from her people played over and over in his mind. He didn't want to put her in danger. Still, he couldn't sit still. Each night, he held the silver leaf she had given him, wondering if it would glow or send a sign. On the 3rd night, he gave in. Darren stood at the edge of the old tunnel road, staring into the thick fog. He took a deep breath and clutched the silver leaf. It glowed faintly in his palm, like it was alive. Then it released a soft pulse, a quiet beat, like a heartbeat. A soft line of light appeared in the air, guiding him. He followed. When he reached the silver house, it was already open. Zura stood waiting, her long robe flowing like water. Her hair was tied back, and her face looked more serious than before. You came, she said. I had to. Darren replied. I couldn't stop thinking about you. Zura stepped aside to let him in. The lights inside were dim, and the walls showed soft gray and blue shades. The mood felt heavy. I'm sorry, Darren said, walking in slowly. If I caused any problems, no. Zura interrupted gently. You didn't cause this. My people are strict, but I knew the risk when I invited you inside. Darren sat down on one of the floating cushions. Have they contacted you? Again, Zura nodded. They sent another message. This time, with more force, a direct command. She waved her hand, and part of the wall shifted to reveal symbols glowing in red. Darren couldn't read them, but he understood from her expression they were serious. What does it say? He asked. Zura hesitated, then translated softly. Unit 7 observes emotional disruption. Human contact is not approved, and contact or be retrieved. Retrieved, Darren repeated. What does that mean? It means they'll come for me. Take me back by force, or worse, remove me, remove you. Darren's chest tightened. Like, kill you? Zura looked away. I don't know. Some who are retrieved never return. My people believe that strong emotion is a weakness. They do not understand bonding. If they think I'm losing control, they may decide I'm no longer useful. Darren stood up. This isn't right. You haven't done anything wrong. To them, feelings are wrong. She replied, caring for you makes me unstable in their eyes. He shook his head. You said you were only here to study humans. What harm is there in learning through real connection? They fear change, Zura said, especially emotional change. But I feel more alive now than ever before. She stepped closer. You make me feel. A long silence filled the room. Darren could feel the tension in the air. Even the walls seemed to dim as if sensing Zura's worry. Then what do we do? He asked. I must hide my connection to you, she said. Keep you safe. Keep myself from being detected. But the longer I stay, the more they notice. Darren frowned. You said this home is part of you, right? Yes. Then can it hide you? Zura looked thoughtful. It can mask my signals for a short time, but not forever. They will find me if they scan from orbit, and I think they already have. What if you left the planet? Darren asked. Zura shook her head slowly. I'm not allowed to leave. Without permission. My ship is locked, but there is a backup, a small escape craft. Hidden underground. I never used it. It's old, damaged. Can it fly? Not far, she said, but far enough to leave the city. Darren's mind raced. Then maybe we can find help, someone who understands. There's no one, Zura said quietly. No one who would risk angering the Norellian High Command. She placed a hand on Darren's. I only wanted to learn about humans, and then I met you. And now, I want to stay. He looked into her glowing eyes. Then we'll find a way. Suddenly, a loud beep filled the room. Zura turned to the wall. More red symbols flashed. Her face grew pale. They're scanning the area now, she said. A patrol ship is close. Very close. Do we run? Darren asked. I can't yet, she replied. The escape ship takes time to prepare. But they may not act right away. They usually watch before striking. Darren nodded. Then let's be ready. Zura moved quickly, guiding him through the house. She opened a hidden panel in the floor, revealing a staircase made of soft light. It led deep underground. Come, she said. I will show you the old ship. They stepped into a large chamber hidden beneath the house. In the center rested a sleek pod, shaped like a tear. It was cracked on one side, but the inside still glowed faintly. I built this long ago, Zura said, in case I ever needed to leave without being seen. Can it carry two? Darren asked. Zura looked surprised. You would come with me. He nodded. I won't let you face this alone. Zura smiled faintly. The ship can carry two, but we must fix the core. Then show me what to do. Darren said. I'll help. They worked through the night. Zura explained the power systems, and Darren followed her every word. It was hard, nothing like the delivery job he was used to, but he kept trying. He connected wires, tightened bolts, and even helped carry energy cells from her house. By morning, the ship glowed stronger, but the walls of the chamber pulsed again, a silent warning. They're still watching, Zura whispered. Time is running out. Darren looked at her. Then we get ready. Tonight, we fly. Night fell slowly over Nova City, but the fog around Zura's home grew thicker and colder. The stars above were hidden. Inside the underground chamber, Darren and Zura stood beside the small escape ship. The pod now glowed softly. Lights inside the cockpit blinked green, and the crack on the side had been patched using a living silver claw from Zura's home. It's ready, Zura said, her voice calm but tight. It's not perfect, but it will fly. Darren wiped sweat from his forehead. He had worked through the night, helping Zura with every wire, panel, and switch. His arms were tired, but his heart was full of energy. Where will we go? He asked. There is a neutral zone beyond the mountains. Zura explained. It's outside the city's scan range. I have friends, they're old friends who do not answer to the High Command. If we reach them, we might be safe. Darren nodded. Then let's go. But just as they prepared to enter the ship, the walls of the chamber began to pulse with a loud, slow rhythm. Boom, boom, boom. Zura's face turned serious. They're here. Above them, outside the house. A large dark shape floated down through the clouds. It wasn't like a normal flying ship. It was smooth, black, and silent. with no windows, only a glowing red symbol in the center, a triangle with a single eye. Darren had never seen a ship like that before, but Zura had. Her expression told him everything. "That's a hunter ship," she whispered. "They don't send those unless they mean to take someone or race someone." Darren stepped closer to her. "We have to go now," Zura nodded, "but we must leave quietly. If we open the escape tunnel, the ship may detect us." "Then how?" She touched the wall. A new panel appeared, one Darren hadn't seen before. She opened it, revealing two small round stones. "These are cloaking seeds," she explained. "When placed on the ship, they will hide it from scans for 5 minutes. Enough time for us to fly low and escape under the fog." She handed one to Darren and placed the other on the ship's front panel. The pod shimmered and slowly faded, like a ghost becoming invisible. "Quickly," she said, "into the ship." Inside the pod, there were only 2 seats. The control panel was shaped like a circle with moving lights. Zura sat in the pilot's seat, her hands glowing as she touched the panel. Darren sat beside her, strapping himself in with a smooth band that wrapped around his chest. "Hold tight," she said. "This launch will not be gentle." The ship hummed quietly. Then with a sharp sound, it shot upward through the secret tunnel. Earth and light flashed past them in a blur. Within seconds, they burst through the ground right under the nose of the hunter ship. But the pod stayed hidden, thanks to the cloaking seeds. The black ship didn't move. Zura flew low, just above the treetops, following the line of the river that led toward the mountains. Darren looked behind. The fog was thick, and the city lights were gone. He saw nothing but the sky and the dark, smooth hunter ship still floating in silence, watching. As they moved further away, the air grew colder. Zura stayed focused, her eyes glowing as she guided the ship through the narrow mountain pass. "Are they following?" Darren asked. "Not yet," she said. "They must think I'm still inside the house." He nodded. "Good." But deep inside, he felt something strange, a pressure in his chest, like they were not alone. Suddenly, an alarm beeped on the panel. Zura's eyes widened. "No. What is it?" "They've launched a scout drone. Small, fast, and it's already on our trail." Zura pushed the ship faster. The pod sped through the clouds like a silver streak. Behind them, a thin red light zipped through the sky. "They'll see us if we lose the cloak," she warned. "How long do we have?" "Less than a minute." Darren looked ahead. In the distance, he saw a dark ridge of mountains. One of them had a wide cave entrance, glowing faintly. "There," he pointed. "Can we hide in that cave?" Zura nodded and turned the ship sharply. The pod dove downward and slid into the cave just as the cloak faded. The red scout light flew past. Not seeing them, inside the cave, the ship landed on smooth stone. The walls sparkled like stars. Zura let out a breath. "We made it, for now." They stepped out of the pod. The cave was large and quiet, filled with soft blue crystals that lit the area. The air smelled clean and cool. Darren looked around. "This place, it's beautiful." "This is part of the neutral zone," Zura said. "We're close now. My contact is just beyond this cave." Darren turned to her. "What happens next?" Zura looked at him with soft eyes. "If we reach my friend, we'll have a chance to hide from the High Command. But I will be marked forever. I won't be allowed to return. And if you did," he asked, "they would erase everything I became, everything I felt." Darren reached out and gently held her hand. "Then don't go back." She looked at their hands, as warm and rough, hers smooth and glowing. A small smile touched her lips. "Then I won't," she whispered. Suddenly, a new sound echoed in the cave footsteps, slow, careful. Darren turned sharply. "Someone's here." Zura stepped forward, eyes glowing. "Stay behind me." From the shadows, a tall figure stepped out. He wore a long black coat and had deep silver eyes. Zura smiled. "It's okay. He's a friend." The man nodded. "You are lucky." The hunter ship was about to send ground units. Zura introduced him. "This is Rollo. He's from a free world. He helps those who escape." Rollo looked at Darren. "You must be the human." Darren gave a small nod. "That's me." Rollo smiled. "Then let's get both of you out of this cave and into safety." You've made powerful enemies. Darren looked at Zura. Zura looked at him. And both of them followed Rollo into the shadows toward a new world, a new future. The cave path was long and winding. Glowing crystals lit the way, casting soft blue light across the stone walls. Darren followed Zura and Rollo deeper inside. The sounds of the outside world faded until all he could hear was the echo of their footsteps and the quiet hum of energy coming from Zura's presence. "Where are we going?" Darren asked. "To the edge of the neutral zone," Rollo replied. "There's a hidden launch point where small crafts can take off without being tracked." "Tracked by who?" Darren asked. "By anyone," Rollo said. "The High Command, bounty hunters, scanners, even the city patrols. They don't reach this deep. That's why this place is safe for now." Zura looked over her shoulder. "Once we leave this planet, we will not be able to return for a long time." Darren nodded. "I'm ready." After nearly an hour of walking, the cave opened into a wide underground hangar. The ceiling reached high above, and in the center stood a ship sleek, silver, and shaped like a crescent moon, unlike the small escape pod. This ship was fully equipped with two-control seats, sleeping space, and navigation systems for long-distance travel. Darren stopped and stared. "Is this your ship?" Rollo smiled. "No, this belongs to the Free Corps. It's a gift for a friend in need." Zura looked at him with gratitude. "Thank you, Rollo. You've helped others escape. Now it's your turn," he said softly. They walked toward the ship, and the doors opened with a soft hiss. Inside, the walls glowed gently. The space felt calm, almost like Zura's home. But this time, it was mobile, ready to fly through the stars. Once inside, Zura took the pilot's seat. Darren sat beside her, watching the lights blink and maps appear in the air. "Coordinates locked," Zura said. "We're heading toward the Orion Drift." "Orion Drift?" Darren asked. "It's a quiet zone." Rollo explained. From behind them, full of small moons, gas clouds, and unclaimed space. "A good place to disappear for a while," Zura nodded. "And to start again." The ship hummed. A soft vibration filled the air. Then, without a sound, they lifted off. Darren looked out the window as the cave roof opened slowly. Above them, the stars appeared bright, endless, and full of mystery. As the ship broke free from the planet's gravity, Darren felt his chest tighten, not from fear, but from wonder. He was leaving Earth. In space, everything moved quietly. Stars passed by like soft lights. They crossed nebula clouds that sparkled in blue and purple. Darren sat by the window, watching everything with wide eyes. He had seen pictures of space before. He had watched videos, but being here flying through it felt completely different. "Are you all right?" Zura asked, walking up beside him. "I don't think I've ever been more all right," he said with a smile. Zura sat next to him. "You look calm." "I should be scared," he said. "I've left my job, my world, everything. But somehow, it feels like this is where I'm supposed to be." Zura touched the window gently. "I used to look at Earth and wonder how humans could live with so much emotion. Now I think that's what makes your kind strong." Darren looked at her. "You've changed, haven't you?" "Yes," she said quietly. "Before, I felt like a watcher, a student, but now I feel like I'm becoming something new." He looked at her glowing eyes. "You're becoming human." Zura smiled. "Maybe, or maybe I'm becoming a bridge between two worlds." Later that night, the ship entered the edge of the Orion Drift. It floated through a field of small moons, each covered in ice or strange glowing plants. Zura slowed the ship and pointed to a larger moon. "That one," she said. "It has a breathable atmosphere, and I've been there before. We could rest there." They landed near a small lake, surrounded by crystal trees. The air was cool, and the moon shone above them. Darren stepped outside and took a deep breath. "This doesn't feel real." Zura walked beside him. "It is, and now it's your world too." They sat beside the lake. The water was clear and reflected the stars above. For a while, they said nothing. Then Zura spoke, her voice softer than ever. "You've changed me, Darren." He looked at her. "You've changed me too." She turned toward him. "You helped me feel." Help me understand kindness, fear, hope, and something else. What's that? He asked. Zura looked into his eyes. Connection. Just then, a small device on Zura's wrist beeped. She tapped it. A message appeared in the air static. At first, then clear words. To Zura of Nyril, you are declared lost by the High Command. Retrieval is cancelled. Status, disconnected. Zura stared at the message, then slowly smiled. What does it mean? Darren asked. It means they've given up on me, she said. They think I'm gone. I'm no longer part of them. Darren stood slowly. Is that a good thing? Zura looked up at the stars. It means I'm free. She looked at Darren. We're free. They returned to the ship later that night. The stars outside seemed brighter. The walls of the ship changed color, slowly warm gold and soft green, like Zura's old home. As Darren lay down to sleep in the small cabin, he felt the ship gently moving, like it was floating on a sea of stars. Zura's voice came through the speaker. Darren, yeah, thank you for delivering that food. He smiled. Best delivery I ever made. The ship floated silently through space, moving deeper into the Orion Drift. Darren sat by the window, watching stars slide past like soft diamonds. Zura was at the controls, her glowing eyes focused on the navigation panels. For days, they traveled in quiet companionship. Neither spoke much, but the silence between them was comfortable, filled with unspoken understanding. Suddenly, a sharp alarm shattered the calm. Zura's hands moved quickly across the controls. We are being followed. Darren's heart raced. How close? Very close, Zura said, voice tense. An Aurelian hunter ship. It found us. The ship on the radar was fast and powerful. It was a dark shape against the stars, chasing them without mercy. We have to decide, Zura said quietly. They gave me an ultimatum. Return alone and erase our bond, or both will be destroyed. Darren looked at her. What do you want to do? She hesitated. I want to fight, but I don't know if we can win. The hunter ship drew closer. Its weapons glowed red, ready to strike. Zura's fingers danced over the controls. There is one option, but it's risky. What is it? I can activate the ship's core defense system. It's powered by emotional energy, but it only works if two beings are connected deeply. Darren looked into her eyes. That means, yes, she said softly. If our bond is strong enough, we can protect ourselves. He nodded. Then let's do it. Zura placed her hand over Darren's. A soft light grew between them. The ship around them began to hum louder. Colors swirled across the walls, gold, blue, green. The ship seemed alive, reacting to their emotions. Darren felt a warmth growing inside. He realized he wasn't just fighting to survive, but to protect someone important outside. The hunter ship fired. A shield of pure light formed around Zura's ship, blocking the attacks. The hunter ship tried again and again, but the shield held strong. Zura smiled, her eyes shining brighter than before. It's working. Our connection is stronger than they imagined. The hunter ship paused, then slowly moved away. Darren let out a breath he hadn't known he was holding. We did it, he said. Yes, Zura agreed. We proved that connection, emotion, and trust can be powerful. They looked at each other, understanding that their bond had changed everything. Later, they landed on a small moon inside the Orion Drift. Zura opened the ship doors, and fresh air greeted them. This will be our new home, she said, a place where we can live without fear. Darren smiled. Together, Zura nodded. Together, they walked hand in hand under twin moons, ready to build a life in the stars. The small moon was quiet and peaceful. Under twin silver moons, Darren and Zura stood side by side, looking out over a valley filled with gentle hills and sparkling lakes. The air was fresh, and the soft glow of distant stars lit the sky like tiny lanterns. For the first time in a long while, Darren felt calm. He was far from the busy streets of Nova City, far from danger and fear. But more than that, he was with Zura, someone who understood him, who trusted him. Days passed, and they began building a new life together. The ship became their home, and the moon their garden. Zura used her knowledge to grow strange plants that glowed softly at night. Darren learned how to care for them and how to listen to the quiet rhythms of this new world. Zura taught Darren about the stars, their names, their stories, and how many worlds live far beyond their sight. And one day, she said softly, "We may visit them." Darren smiled. "I like that." One evening, as they watched the twin moons rise, Zura spoke quietly. "Darren, before I met you, I thought my mission was only to observe, to study humans from a distance." He looked at her. "And now, I know there is more. Not just observing, but living, feeling, connecting. You showed me that." He reached out and took her hand. "And you showed me that even in the vastness of space, I'm not alone." They stood in silence, holding hands, feeling the quiet power of the bond they had formed. But even in this peaceful place, the past was never far behind. One day, as they explored a nearby forest of crystal trees, the ship's communication panel beeped softly. Zura touched the screen and frowned. A message appeared from the Nirelian High Command, Zura of Nyrel. "Your actions are considered a betrayal. You are ordered to return or face exile." Darren's face grew serious. "What will you do?" Zura looked at the message, then back at him. "I have already chosen. I will not return. But they may come for you. Let them come," she said firmly, "because now I have something they never understood." She looked at Darren with warmth in her eyes. "I have you." Days later, they prepared for possible visitors. Rollo, their friend from the Free Corps, arrived quietly in a small ship. "We heard the High Command may send hunters," he warned. "You need allies." Darren nodded. "We're ready to fight. If we must," Zura smiled. "But I hope for peace. We want a new life, not war." Together, the three worked to strengthen their defenses and build connections with nearby free worlds. Months passed, and news spread about the brave human and the alien who chose love over duty. Their story inspired others across the galaxy. Zura and Darren became symbols of hope, proof that connection could break walls, that friendship and trust could cross stars. One night, under the shining moons, Darren looked at Zura. "Do you miss home?" She smiled softly. "I miss my people, but I do not miss the fear or the rules. Here, I am free, and I'm glad I was the one who showed you that." Zura laughed lightly. "And I'm glad I was the one who invited you into my home." They both laughed, the sound carrying softly across the quiet moon. As they watched the stars, Darren thought about how much his life had changed, from a simple delivery man to a traveler among the stars, sharing a new home with an alien woman who had once been a stranger. But now, she was his friend, his partner, his family. And this was only the beginning. End of story.